Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, the Knight of Justice, back again with another power scaling video. And in this video, we'll be doing a power scaling post-crisis Superman, and we'll be covering his various feats, abilities, and different things he's done during his publication. Now I will note, I will be doing maybe Boom Tube Ant Superman or Cosmic Armor in a different video, along with covering Rebirth and New 52 Superman in a separate video. But in the meantime, you'll be having the luxury of watching this video. Cosmic Armor will be mentioned in this video, but for different reasons. But with that out of the way, let's get into just how powerful is post-crisis Superman. Sent as a baby to Earth from the dying planet of Krypton, Kal-El was adopted by Martha and Jonathan Kent, Smallville, Kansas. Growing up as Clark Kent, he developed his life and helped others with his various abilities that he gained from Earth's yellow sun. Though before this, he was a bit afraid of who he was and didn't know what he was. He thought he was human, but he didn't really know he was an alien and adopted. He did realize that he was different from the other kids and other people, that he had superhuman abilities, but he soon learned to adapt this and accept this to who he is. He can use his powers to help people. He soon moved to Metropolis and became Superman, while gaining and maintaining the secret identity known as Clark Kent, who worked at the Daily Planet. Now, without the way, now we covered the origin story of Superman a little bit. I didn't need to go in depth with this. I mean, we all know who he is, and if you don't, well, that sucks. But let's get into the various feats of post-crisis Superman. Some lower feats. Superman can be scaled from either being solar system to like galaxy level quite easily. Superman, along with Wonder Woman, Shazam, and John Stewart, were able to survive attacks from the Void Hound, which is capable of easily destroying 10 star systems in just a test firing. Superman is able to tank a blast from the Sun Eater, which can destroy star systems. Superman was also able to rip apart a machine and absorb enough anti-solar, anti-sunlight that would have vaporized half a galaxy. These are pretty casual feats, mostly used to downplay him, but these feats are nothing compared to the numerous universal plus to low multiversal post-crisis Superman has in his arsenal down the lines. For starters, post-crisis Superman fighting with Golden Age Superman rewrote timelines and shattered a space-time continuum. It was repeatedly stated that they would destroy each other's universes, and then eventually they started shattering the universe again, and they were again shown rewriting timelines. Even the DC website confirmed the two were shattering the space-time continuum apart. Superman has fought against Nebula Man, who is a living universe. Post-crisis Superman defeated Superboy Prime alongside Golden Age Superman, who can withstand a Big Bang and who was considered one on par with Silver Age's Anti-Monitor, who was going to consume the universe and was defeated by Golden Age Superman and Superboy Prime, even after absorbing all the energy from the antimatter universe and use it to fight them. Superman can push through the barriers of space and time and defeat the embodiment of his own death, who caused the universe to collapse on Superman, only for him to overcome and defeat death. Superman has fought against Brainiac 13 on 3 different occasions, who can ravage timelines and rewrite the universe. Superman was able to fight against 30th century Mordru, who has had all the magical powers of a universe, even making this man spit teeth. Superman was also able to tank the self-destruct power of Aztec, who has 4th dimensional energy. And most commonly, Superman can punch back in this fight on par with the likes of Orion on numerous occasions, who can take a weapon capable of annihilating the universe, as well as having 1/5 the power of a Big Bang. But these are just a few of the numerous feats for Superman that can place him from Universal Plus to possibly low multiversal consistently. Now, let's tackle speed. Post-crisis Superman can be scaled from billions to trillions. There are even counts that place him at sextillions or quintillions of times the speed of light. For example, Superman's able to fly from Vega to Earth in a short amount of time. He's also able to fight Superboy Prime from Earth to Oa. Superman will also scale the likes of Green Lanterns like Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, and John Stewart, even Kyle Rayner, were able to fly across and capable of flying across the DCU universe in a matter of hours. And it's quite impressive how large the DC universes are compared to like other universes. Even there's numerous statements that they're infinite in size. Superman should scale to Wonder Woman in terms of like combat and reaction speed, and Wonder Woman has been able to deflect the Shattered God. The Shattered God was struck by the Big Bang and shattered into untold trillions of pieces across the expanded of the DC universe. Even though this is a low ball, the DC universe is trillions of light years in terms of diameter. And during this fight, Wonder Woman, the Shattered God summoned all the pieces of himself from each corner of the universe straight at her, and she was able to block each and every single one with her bracelets. So this is an impressive feat displayed by Wonder Woman. Now, this is, I consider, one of post-crisis Superman's best MFTL feats, is him chasing the reality blitzing missiles all throughout the universe. The distance this kind of is calculated, since it's basically flying all throughout the universe, and would basically take the volume of the universe and see how many of his own body volume can fit, and then we have to subtract the volume of all the other objects of the universe. Considering there will be little difference in this calculation, and combine the volume of everything in the universe and subtracting it, I'll leave that part out so that the calculators won't be like wanked or nothing. It is a massive lowball anyway, since this is basically an immeasurable speed feat, you can say, and there are like other immeasurable speed feats that Superman has, but I'll get to that later. But since there was once a man who took Superman to 10 trillion light years away from Earth, and the Earth was said to be at the center of the universe, though it's mostly always at the center of the universe though. But either way, this would at least be a low ball, since we're assuming the circumference of the universe. Not to mention the time frame that Superman had to do this, the time it takes for a human heartbeat. Lois is in the middle-aged woman, but for her simple terms, it'll be a low ball for her heartbeat rate to be at least 60 beats per minute. Even though it should probably be at least higher, so maybe like 1 second. And let me tell you right now, the calculation for this is just too big to say. I'll just leave it on the screen and in the description below for the calc. But let me just say, this feat is like one of the most impressive speed feats for post-crisis Superman. We should at least put him at least maybe 6 Sicilian MFTL, but you'll see the calc. Now moving on to the more consistent stuff, which is immeasurable speed. Now, Superman has plenty of immeasurable speed feats, but people don't seem to even mention the amount of immeasurable speed feats Superman has, or say he doesn't have any at all. But let's just see how fast Superman is. Superman is able to push through the barriers of space and time to where he's able to fight his own death. Superman is able to tag Professor Zoom, and was once stated to have speed who rivaled his. Professor Zoom can run to the 20th century and can move through multiple temporal dimensions. He was going to the past to change it, and during his fight with the Flash, can freely move through the time stream. Superman can react to Barry Allen and Wally West while they're running through time. Wally West was able to outrun the Black Razor to the end of time and the end of the universe until death no longer exists on the conceptual level. He then ran back in time through the time stream. He's also able to chase Professor Zoom throughout time alongside Barry Allen. Superman is able to keep pace with Jay Garrick and Wally West while they were chasing Reverse Flash through the past. Superman should be relative to Superboy, who is capable of momentarily outpacing Jenny Orton when she ran through time. Superman was also able to fly into hyperspace, which is a realm that exists beyond time and space. And Superman is also able to chase Superboy into the future. This is just some numerous of immeasurable speed feats Superman actually has. Superman does have a relevant speed, which is a lot higher than immeasurable speed, but I will save that for a different video I'm making on the different version of Superman. Superman can also transform into Superman Blue, which is quite powerful in his own right. Might get his own video since it's like crazy strong. But he can transform into Superman Blue, and he has some impressive feats while doing so. But I'll save that for a later video. Now, moving on to hacks. Superman has a variety of hacks and hacks resistances that people don't know or are aware of but don't like to mention. Superman can use his heat vision to hit intangible beings and counter molecular phasing. Superman does have resistance to like absorption attacks, like energy base and like absorbing his energy. Superman was able to survive Parasite's energy absorption, and when he was Superman Blue, was completely unfazed by it. And even after he spent a really long time trying to, he just defeated him when Parasite tried to absorb his energy. Keep in mind that Parasite can absorb the likes of Martian Manhunter's memories, Aztec's fourth dimensional energy, Firestorm, who has the power of a Big Bang, Starman, and Firehawk's memories, Kismic energy that can control over their electromagnetic field, and the likes of Black Canary's powers and multiple other powers. And Superman Blue, and even Superman himself, is able to resist this on different occasions. Superman also has resistance to his existence being erased, which is known as existence erasure. Superman resists Darkseid's Omega beams on multiple occasions, which is termination itself, and can cease platonic forms to cease to have ever been with no chance of rebirth and redemption. Time Trapper has tried many times to erase Superman and his influence on the timelines and history on different occasions, but always failed. Superman also has resistance to sealing, since he resists the effects of the Source Wall, which can passively seal the likes of Highfather, Darkseid's avatars, and even Perpetua. Superman has also defeated barriers upon all barriers before that try to seal him away, or stop his progression. Superman also has resistance to soul manipulation, and has having the soul destroyed or messed with. He's resist and taint the likes of Etrigan's Hellfire, which can burn away the mind and soul, and Etrigan has his flames that can also purify soul. And before, Etrigan has also been able to hurt and burn Martian Manhunter's mind and soul, burn the likes of Dreamcatcher, who is an amalgamation of souls of all people who have died in their dreams, and has also burned the Phantom Stranger and can burn away angels with his Hellfire. Superman also tanked magical attacks that can also affect his soul indirectly and induce fear and hopelessness within him, and he's also tanked this. Superman can also affect souls by damaging them. He's been able to use his super breath to blow away Zatanna when she was in her astral form, and later use his super breath to shatter her astral form. He also can use his heat vision to affect intangible beings, like I said before, on the molecular structure. Superman can fight directly and even shatter Dominus's body of the souls. Superman's also canceled a large true form Darkseid soul using his counter vocalization of singing. Superman has resistance to conceptual attacks, such as resisting the embodiment of his own death attempt to kill him. He's also reversed Gorilla Grodd's uses of the metamorphic field to de-evolve him. The metamorphic field, which allows up to animal versions of platonic archetypal reality, that was also used to recreate the source. Superman has also resisted Darkseid's Omega beams on different occasions, which, like I said, can cease platonic forms to have ever been, ever will be, or render them of being reborn. Superman has resistance to matter manipulation, since he's able to tank the radiation storm from Mr. Mixie that can twist and transmute things on a molecular level. He's also resists a force beam that hammers solid matter into molecules, and he's also resists the size like attempts to transmute his molecule structure. Superman's mind hacks are also quite impressive, and he's able to his mind hack resistance at least. Superman resists Hector Hammond's telepathy after it worked on the likes of the Flash, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. Superman's also passively forced Martian Manhunter out of his mind and bring him on his knees. Superman can also actively make his mind undetected by Martian Manhunter if he chose to. Martian Manhunter is able to overload the mind of Gorilla Grodd when he was amped himself by the metamorphic field. Martian Manhunter also overwhelmed the mind of the Godhead, who is the core form in which all creation envelops from. Martian Manhunter can keep Vishnu asleep, whose mere awakening will destroy all of creation. Martian Manhunter was able to mind hack Metron after he was overtaken by the anti-life equation. Martian Manhunter even overwhelmed the mind of Libra, who was the anti-life equation itself, and was able to read his mind if he chose to. So these are some pretty impressive feats that, mind hacks feats, resistances that Superman has. Superman also has resistance to Power Null when he resisted Hollow Man from taking away his powers, emotions, color, will, energy, life force, dreams, and imagination, and Superman was able to resist this. Superman is also not bound by fate, as when he was able to still defeat Death, despite the countless attempts that Death tried to kill Superman, and Superman overcame this either way and to beat Death. Superman also has conceptual attacks, to like his punches or his heat vision or just touching you. Superman can fight the embodiment of his own death and interact with him. Superman can cancel out Darkseid's soul with his singing. Superman, while using his heat vision, can deflect Darkseid's Omega beams, which are Termination itself. Even Silver Age Superman, or I think it's post-Crisis, was able to melt the fabric of a platonic archetypal world. Though, even if it wasn't, it's post-Crisis still be able to still do this. Superman is able to resist reality warping. He resists Mr. Mixie's realm, which has without physical gravity or reality, as well as a function of space and time. And Mr. Mixie has also tried to attempt to erase Superman from all reality and memory, and Superman is able to resist this. Superman has also have some good impressive feats of resisting magic, as he was able to reverse Etrigan's magic with his own willpower and conviction. He's also survived and tanked magical attacks that can stab into his soul directly and induce fear and hopelessness. Not to mention, he's also fought 30th century Mordru, who had all the power of a magical universe at his disposal. But out of all these feats, the most impressive ability that Superman has is what we call the story of Superman. The story of Superman is basically narrative hacks on a massive scale, and one of the most powerful things that Superman has, or one of the most powerful hacks in all of DC. It's the ability that Superman can tap into at any given time if he chose to, actually, but he was actually able to use this fully to his full potential during Final Crisis in the fight against Mandrak. One of the most obvious examples of the story of Superman, or this narrative hacks, is so powerful is a statement by Retcon Corporation. For those who don't know, Retcon corporations, they are responsible for maintaining the stories within DC and using these stories in order to appease the Anonymous, a race of powerful gods-like beings who would destroy everything in the Overvoid and Final Heaven, a realm beyond the Overvoid, if they chose to. Now, what is Retcon themselves has a button that's capable of wiping the Overvoid completely clean, or the page, which is the Overvoid. But despite the immense narrative erasing powers they have, they're completely unable to alter the story of Superman and instead make a copy of Superman's narrative, which is Milkman Man. But on a lower level, Superman used the power of the story of Superman towards the end of his fight against the manifestation of his own Death, who repeatedly tried to use his death hacks on Superman to try and kill him. Death will create a reality where you have a cybernetic Lex that exists that knew everything about Clark Kent being Superman, and Superman could never defeat this Lex in a world without Lois, all attempt to make Superman lose hope and give up on himself and give up to his own death. The story of Superman would simply allow him to adapt above this writing reality to where Superman could win. Next, Death would try to create a reality where Ma and Pa Kent were dead, and aged Superman repeatedly turned him into an old man. Even so, this was still not enough, with Death saying that everything else in creation would follow the cycle of death and will eventually die. But he still cannot kill Superman. In fact, his attempts trying to kill Superman only made him stronger with more resolve. Death would go to destroy creation and kill everything in creation, and Superman would still live. Death would kill Hope, saying that without death, with the death of Hope, Hope dies, and yet Superman still lives on. So even when Hope ceases to exist, Superman still lives on. The story of Superman would then allow the Man of Steel to transcend death and reach an existence that makes all creation look nothing more but a dream. The Man of Steel will travel beyond the barriers of time and space and emotion to reach home where he would one-shot his own death. Superman would question whether this was all a dream or an illusion or not what Death would seem to appear, but Death tells him that it was not an illusion, it was not a dream, it was all true. Although Superman could believe it was an illusion if he wanted to, everything happened in a place where mind and matter intersect, and that Death had changed all as a result of this. As the universe died, Death felt an emptiness in his soul and reached for a reason to go on in himself. He searched for hope and found it in Superman. As a result, Death would thank Superman and be freeing him of his own death, so too would Death be free. Now people have this idea that this was where is that same story, that these feats all take place in just an illusion or a dream. But Death verbatimly states that this was not a dream, it all actually happened, and that Superman can believe it didn't happen if he wanted to. But this is only a fraction of the power that the story of Superman has, and he will be able to use it to his full capability through the fight through cosmic armor, or like the Thought robot, and is a direct embodiment of the hyper story that is Superman, and it as a creation of the Overvoid. Like I said, the Thought robot, or cosmic armor Superman, is a direct embodiment of the hyper story, which is Superman itself, and it is a creation of the Overvoid. When the modern mind in the Overvoid first noticed the creation, it encountered the story of Superman and began to infect it rapidly. It was stated that the Overvoid would have no defense against it, and it sealed it away in divine metal, which will eventually ultimately become Cosmic Armor Superman. So for those that say that this is not Superman exactly, or just a robot, well, you're right and you're wrong. This entity is Superman. It's just the story or the concept of Superman placed in armor. So basically, Cosmic Armor is the story of Superman just cased in like metal. Cosmic Armor was also able to fight against Mandrake in the self-assembling hyper story that was trying to destroy them. While they would keep fighting, they kept growing stronger and stronger over each other, overcoming one another's narrative. So this is a pre-OP hack that Superman has. But with that out of the way, how powerful is post-Crisis Superman? Well, going off of feats, scaling, and statements, on a consistent basis, Superman should at least be solar system level to Universal Plus, or high in the Universal Plus, likely low multiversal if you want to argue it. But I will, as I mentioned before in the beginning of the video, there are other versions of post-crisis that are even more powerful, like Boomtube and Superman, or even Fate State. But I will mention that in a different video. Put it out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the content, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and also comment down below. Hit the notification button for more videos in the future. And guys, we are at 991 subs. All we need is 900. All we need is 9 more to go. Keep in mind, 991, and all we need is 9 more. We're close to 1000K. Let's get it, guys. Hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, peace.